Thank you. Thank you, Senator. We have time for one more question. How can our community be more effective in getting our messages across to candidates for public office?
Well, I think you're being pretty effective right now. I applaud you on that. Advocacy is hard work and never ending. I remember one of my good friends from Arkansas, and this was probably more than 30 years ago now. Her son was born with cerebral palsy. And when he was a toddler, my friend began to get involved in groups that were formed of families with children with disabilities. And this was, I guess, back in like 77, 78, somewhere back then, right after the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act had passed, but really before it was fully implemented and people understood it, and the disability rights movement was just beginning. And I'll never forget my friend saying that she went to the legislature to lobby on behalf of increased services for families with children with disabilities, and certainly educational services. And she was meeting legislators. She had never done this before in her life, and she was holding her son. And the legislators were just very uncomfortable. You know, they didn't know what to say. They were confused. And she said, you know, one gentleman trying to end the conversation said, well, you know, look on the bright side of things. You'll never have to chase him around. And my friend said, you know, that was the moment I moved from being a concerned mother to an activist. Now, a lot of attitudes have changed in the last 30 plus years, but I don't think advocacy ever ends in America, because you have to continually raise these issues. You have to fight for what you believe is right. You have to keep going back to the legislature. You have to elect people like Maggie and Lou who know about these issues and care about them. So I think that the community is well organized, but you can't ever get discouraged or disheartened. I think it is fair to ask, when this administration began making decisions that truly undercut goals, objectives, programs, rights, I think the community was so discouraged that there really wasn't much happening. And everybody is just kind of waiting for this administration to end. But I believe you have to be constantly advocating and sort of forcing decision makers to be put on the spot. So I would urge that you do what you do best in New Hampshire. Spend the next 2 months going everywhere anybody running for president is and asking them the questions about what they're going to do. I had a healthcare forum in Las Vegas about 10 days ago, and there were about 800-900 people there, and we had a special section for people in wheelchairs, and there were 3 gentlemen in wheelchairs. One was in a head brace, one was clearly suffering from multiple chronic conditions, and another was in a wheelchair as well. And so I called on them because I wanted the audience to hear their questions, because there still is a lot of misinformation and lack of information in the electorate at large about these issues. And I think that anytime you can be present to ask these questions, to make it an issue, to have an agenda, you have to do it, even if you believe that the person appearing before you is totally opposed to everything you stand for. In fact, I would argue that's even more important to be there. Sometimes advocates say, well, what's the point of going to so-and-so and so-and-so? What's the point of having any kind of demonstration or any kind of event? Because, you know, they're against us. Let's go to the people who are sort of for us and really push them. Well, that's fine, but don't forget the people who are against everything you stand for. Don't let them off the hook. Get out to these events. Raise these questions. Ask them what their policies will be. because this is about changing minds as well as changing votes and changing administrations. We need to continue to create a broad-based critical mass of Americans who understand why what you're advocating for is important not just to you and your loved ones, but important to the kind of country America is. Thank you all very much.